Review of mostly 2.5, but the quadratic formula is a review of 2.6. Remember, quadratic formula, don't be scared. It's just the formula that's up there. So we have x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay? Biggest thing is the first step, filling it in. Okay? So we have x equals, what's my b value? 6, so the negative of that is negative 6, plus or minus the square root. B is 6 squared minus 4 times, what's A? 1. What's C? 8, and then we have divided by 2 times 1. Okay, biggest step is just filling it in. Now we just have to evaluate and solve. So we're focusing on the square root. We have negative 6 plus or minus the square root. What's 6 squared? 36. Minus 4 times 1 is 4 times 8 is 32. Yep. Divided by 2 times 1 is 2. Okay. Continuing on, what is 36 minus 32? 4. And then divided by 2. Keep going. Can I simplify the square root? Yeah. What's the square root of 4? 2 divided by 2. Okay. What do we do when we get to this point? Are we done? We are not, because of this plus or minus. This is where we get our two different solutions. So we write our two different equations. So we have x equals negative 6 plus 2 divided by 2. And then we have negative 6 minus 2 divided by 2. Does everyone see where I got my two solutions? Yes. Okay, I just rewrote it using this plus or minus. I have plus here, minus in this one. Okay? So now we just solve. What's negative 6 plus 2?
8.
Negative 4 divided by 2. What's negative 4 divided by 2? Negative 2. So our first answer is x equals negative 2. Next one, what's negative 6 minus 2? Negative 8 divided by 2. X equals negative 4. So that is by using the quadratic formula. Okay? The next part, it's the same equation, so we should get the same answers. We are going to do this by completing the square. This is what we talked about on Friday. Okay? Completing the square, remember, we want to get a new c value so that we can complete the square. So what should I do with my original c value? What is my original c value? 8, so I need to... Yep, we want to move it to the other side. So I'm going to subtract 8 on both sides. So I have x squared plus 6x. What do I need to put in here? I need to put blanks in there. And then negative 8, what do I do to one side? I have to go to the other. Yep. So I put a blank on one side. I need to put a blank on the other. Okay. How do we figure out what to put in the blank? We take our b, which is 6, divided by 2 is 3. There's one more thing we have to do with that. Yep, 3 squared is 9. So 9 is what goes in those two blanks. Okay. Now let's just clean it up a little bit. On the left side, we have x squared plus 6x plus 9 equals negative 8 plus 9. 1. Now we're at the factoring step. Okay, so looking at that left side, let's talk about the long way first. Looking at that left side, we want factors of 9 that add up to 6. 3 and 3, right? Remember, we specifically want these two factors to be the same. Okay, so 3 and 3 are the ones we pick. We usually write our answer as x plus 3 times x plus 3 equals 1. Okay? Right. Remember, we can write this. Remember, completing the square. We can write this as x plus 3 squared equals 1. When you get more comfortable, you will not have to do this step. You could go straight to this step. Okay? Does anyone remember the trick of how you can get this step? Where can we get this number from?
Oh, you did 6 divided by 2.
Right, up here. Whatever that number is the number that's going to go inside here. Now all we have left is to solve. How do I solve and get x by itself?
Square root.
Take the square root of both sides. So what do I have left on the left side?
X plus 3.
X plus 3 equals, what's the square root of 1?
1.
What do I need with the 1? To get my two solutions. Positive and negative 1. Just so you don't forget, I want you to circle that positive negative 1. Okay, because we're not done yet. What do I need to do with that positive negative 1? I need to separate them out, right? So what's my first option? X plus 3 equals 1. Second option is X plus 3 equals negative 1. Now I just solve them both separately. How do I solve? Subtract 3. X equals 1 minus negative 3 is negative 2. And then subtract 3.
Negative 4.
X equals negative 4. What do you notice about our answers compared to the quadratic formula? They're the same. Okay, they should be because they're the same formula, okay? Or the same equation that we started with. So, we are solving for the same things. We are just using two different methods to get there. Okay? First example we're going to do is x squared plus 8x minus 48 equals 0. Okay? We are just going to focus on completing the square. Okay? What is my first step when completing the square?
Add 48.
I want to get rid of that c value, right? So I'm going to add 48. Why are we adding 48 and not subtracting?
Because it's negative.
Right, we got to get them to cancel out. So now I have x squared plus 8x. When I'm rewriting, what do I need to fill in?
Leave a space for C.
Leave a new space for c. Well, if I do that to one side, I have to do it to the other side. Okay, so right there, all I did was got rid of my old c, and I made room for my new c. Okay, now we need to fill in the blanks. How do we figure out what goes in the blanks? Same method every time. What is it?
8 divided by 2.
Yep. Where'd you get the 8 from?
B.
Yep, take our b value, which is 8, divide that by 2, which is
4.
4. What do I do with that 4?
Square it.
4 squared equals
16.
16. 16 is what goes in the blanks. Now let's just clean up what we have. Left side we have x squared plus 8x plus 16 equals 48 plus 16 is 64. Now we're at the factoring step. Okay, or think that trick, x, and then we're going to have squared equals 64. What number is going to go in here?
4.
Yep, get that number from up here. So we get x plus 4 squared equals 64. Now all that's left is to solve. How do I solve this?
Square root.
Take the square root of both sides. What's left on the left side?
X plus 4.
X plus 4 equals square root of 64.
8.
8. What do I need with the 8? Since I took the square root. Yep, positive, negative. Remember, circle that positive, negative. How many answers are we supposed to get from these? 2. That's why we need the positive and negative. What are my two equations that I'm going to write?
X plus 4 equals 8, and then X plus 4 equals negative 8.
X plus 4 equals 8. X plus 4 equals Now, solve. How do I solve both of them? Subtract 4, yep. X equals
4.
4 on the left. Subtract 4. X equals negative 12 on the right. Yep, good. Example 2, let's do x squared plus 2n minus 3 equals 0. Solve this by completing the square. When completing the square, what do we need to do first? Get rid of the c value. How do I do that?
Add 3.
I want to add 3 to both sides. So I get x squared plus, sorry, that was supposed to be an x. What do I need to put in? Plus blank equals 3. What else do I need?
Plus blank.
Plus blank. Good. How do I fill in the blank?
You're gonna rewrite. Oh, wait, sorry. Using b divided by 2.
Yep. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. What do I do with that?
1 squared.
1 squared is
1.
1. So 1 goes in the 2 blanks. So now let's clean it up. We have x squared plus 2x plus 1 equals 4. Good. What do we do when we get to this step?
Factor.
Right, this is where we get to the x plus whatever squared. What goes in the parentheses?
X plus 2.
Where'd you get the 2?
X plus 4. That's what I was wondering. I think I factored.
Yep, remember it always comes from this number.
1.
So x plus 1 squared.
Is that our factor? Is that what we use?
What do you mean?
Is 1 the factor that we use?
Right, so if I did this the long way, we have 1, factors of 1 are 1 and 1.
Oh, so whatever that's up there is my factor.
Correct. Yep. X plus 1 squared is equal to 4. How do I solve this? What do we do?
Square root.
Take the square root of both sides. What's left on the left side?
X plus 1.
X plus 1 equals
Negative 2 and positive 2.
positive negative 2. Good. Circle that positive negative so you know what to do next. What do we do next?
Put
Separate
into
them.
equations.
Yep, what's my first equation?
X plus 1 equals 4.
Into
2. X plus 1 equals 2 and
X plus 1 equals negative 2.
there we go. Now we solve both of them by subtracting 1. 2 minus 1?
2. Leave 1.
1. Subtract 1. Negative 2 minus 1.
Negative 3.
Negative 3. So our answers are 1 and negative 3. All right, next one we're going to try. X squared minus 8n.
You mean 8x?
Yep, sorry, thank you. 8x minus 33 equals 0. Yes. Get rid of the c by adding 33 to both sides. So we have x squared minus 8x plus blank equals 33 plus blank. Good. Now I need to fill in the blank. How do I do that?
Get the 8 divided by 2.
Yep, what is my b value?
8.
Negative 8 divided by 2. Negative 4. Well, then negative 4 squared is 16. So we put 16 in the blanks. Okay. So now clean it up, rewrite. X squared minus 8x plus 16 equals 49. Now it's the factoring part where we're writing our parentheses squared equals 49. What goes in the parentheses?
X minus 4.
X minus 4. Where'd you get that negative 4?
From negative 8 divided by 2 equals
Yep.
4.
Good. How do we solve?
Square root.
Square root both sides. So we get x minus 4 equals,
7.
what do I need with it?
Negative.
There you go, positive and negative 7. What should you circle?
Positive negative.
Positive and negative. Why do I circle that?
Then you use
So
it
you
to
can separate them.
split
Right. Now you split them. What's my first one?
4 plus, or
X minus 4 equals 7.
What's the second one?
X minus 4 equals negative 7.
Yep. And then how do I solve both of these?
Add 4
add
times.
4.
Add 4. What's 7 plus 4?
11.
11. And then what is negative 7 plus 4?
Negative 3.
Negative 3. Good. All right, example 4. Let's try x squared minus 20x plus 84 equals 0. Last one here. When completing the square, what do we need to do first?
Get rid of C.
Yep, get rid of the c by subtracting 84. Good. So what am I writing next?
X squared plus,
Good. Now we need to fill in the blank. How do we fill in the blank?
B divided by 2.
Yep, what's my b? Negative 20 divided by 2 is negative 10. What do I do with that negative 10? Squared equals 100. Where does that 100 go?
Blanks.
In the spaces. Good. What do we do from here?
Simplify the question.
Yep, clean it up. X squared minus 20x plus 100 equals 16. Now we're at the factoring step. So rewriting. What do I put in the parentheses?
X minus 10
X minus 10
squared
squared equals 16. Now we just need to solve. How do I solve?
square root
Take the square root of both sides. What's left on the left side?
X minus 10
X minus 10 equals,
4
what do I need with it?
Plus minus,
Positive, negative. What should you circle right now?
plus minus.
Plus, minus. That tells us what?
split it up.
Split it up. What is it? What do I split it up as?
X minus 10 equals 4 and then X minus 10 equals negative 4.
Good. Last thing.
Solve it.
Yep, by
Adding 10.
add 10, so we get x equals
14.
14. And then add 10 to get x equals 6. Good.